ready on my count. In 5. You're over count. Okay. 5, 4.
From Premier Lanes Entertainment Center in Gonzales, Louisiana, Crescent City Sports is proud to bring you the LHSAA Bowling Championships. This afternoon, the Girls State Championship will be decided as the Central Wildcats battle the Archbishop Chappell Chipmunks. And a pleasant good afternoon turning into early evening, as it were, in Gonzales. Ken Trahan joined by Lenny Van Gilder and Kent Lowe. It's so good that you've chosen to join us. In case you missed it earlier, the Brother Martin Crusaders won the boys state championship, defeating Central by the score of 21.5 to 5.5. And now we decide the girls championship between the number 9 seed Central and an undefeated Archbishop Chappell squad. Chappell at 15-0, Central at 11-3. So, Lenny, I guess what we have here is we've got the expected entity in Chappell and maybe the unexpected in Central.
Yeah, and look, Central, made a run to the finals back in 2019. They were, I believe, a 6th seed that year. And you can do that in this format. They knocked out the number 1 seed Central Lafourche in the quarterfinals. And as you take a look at the bracket here and you see what's happened, that's the first thing that kind of jumps out at you. Is that win by Central? And it was pretty convincing. Chappell has rolled. You thought maybe they would have a pretty tough test in that match with Sanoma in the semifinals, and 22.5 to 4.5. They took care of business pretty handily and really bowled well in that match to advance here to their first championship match, in fact, a 31-91 team series for Chappell, including team games of 10-98 and 11-27. As a team, Chappell averaged right at 1,000 per game in the regular season. So it gives you an idea of what they can do, and the run they've been on. Look, they were the number 2 seed in this bracket behind Central Lafourche. They would have been the number 1 seed in 2020 had we had a postseason. They finished the regular season with the number 1 power ranking. They were the number 1 seed in 2019. Okay, so this is a team that's been basically on the come here for a couple of years now. And would be the favorite as we look at this to win their first state championship.
And of course, earlier today, Kent, the story was Sarah Ruby, who might be the best female bowler that we've seen this year, as she flirted with a perfect game. She had the first 10 strikes in the semifinals before settling for a 283. That was pretty special.
Yeah, part of a 680 series, and of course she has certainly had great success. Singles champion in 2019, and looks to be in pretty good form if this morning was any indication.
Yeah, signed earlier this spring with Lincoln Memorial. She's a senior, will go on to college. Has won the Pepsi Championship a couple of times. She did the most recently 8 days ago at AMF in Kenner. So very well accomplished. And this, look, as we talked about with the Brother Martin boys, you win in this sport with depth, and Chappell is deep. Okay, they've got 2 of the top 6 average bowlers in the state, bowling 5 and 6 in their lineup. You've got a couple of 160 bowlers bowling at 3 and 4. You got 143 at number 5. So there is some great depth, more so than the other teams you'll see. You look on the other side at Central, Lacey Villarreal at the anchor spot is a 168 average. Falls off to Lindsay Jackson at 148 at number 5, but she shot 612 in the semifinals.
I was going to bring that up, so a tremendous performance.
Yeah, she was huge, but the numbers fall off beyond that. So, Central, the last couple of matches has really outperformed their season averages, and that's what they will need to do today to make this the type of match that we hope to see in terms of competitive down to the end.
Ken, you've been able to cover this Central team this year. Of course, it's special that both the boys and girls from the same high school reached the championship match. But what stands out about the Wildcat ladies that we should be looking for here today?
Well, the thing I was most impressed with, especially in their win over Central Lafourche in the quarterfinals, was the way they were able to make spares, put a little pressure on Central Lafourche, and they really didn't handle it very well. to be honest with you, and Central then got a few strike strings, and they didn't shoot extremely high, but they were able to take them down without much trouble, to be honest with you, and look like, again, with the help of a couple of big scores that you mentioned, put the semifinals away. So, I mean, if the Chipmunks are not on their game this afternoon, then there may be a shot here for Central to win possibly their second state championship. This is the fourth time Central girls are in the final match. And so they've been here, and now it's a case of just trying to bring it home.
And it's a school district in and of itself, Kent. I
Yes.
mean, it's one of those situations for people that aren't familiar around the state that are watching here this evening of a school that has its own school district. They basically are a separate entity, right?
That's exactly right. And they have, like I say, been a pretty good, pretty top player in Baton Rouge for the last several years. Winning the title in 16, 2 other final appearances before today. And for both the boys and girls to be in here, that's a pretty good statement for Coach Phil Gottlieb, who has to take care of both of these programs.
Lenny, we've seen this coming. We've covered Chappelle the last several years.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned they were a 1 seed last time around, did not win, but they have been building toward this for several years now. They've been good for about 4 or 5 years now.
Right. Frank Ruby has, gotten involved with this team, especially with, his daughter is going to bowl in the anchor position. We talked about her. He's helped build this program, and again, he has, worked with them and tried to increase interest in the program at his school, and obviously he has, and that he's got, people who are committed to the sport and want to, and want to get involved, and that's, not just that. It's they're being successful, and they're again, like we talked about, it's depth that wins, and basically they are going to be better than you at just about every spot in the lineup, and that's where they've got a chance, to really make a difference and come away with their first state championship. Okay, let's take a look at the format for those people who may not have been with us for the first match, and what it takes to win. It's a 27-point match. You've got 18 individual matches over the course of 3 games, 6 bowlers times 3. At each game, you've got 2 points for total pins. So that's another 6 points, and then 3 points for what we call super total pins for the entire match. That comes up to 27. It takes 14 points to win or to clinch the match. So that's the magic number that you're aiming for, is 14. It's not not a sport with a clock like you see with some other things, but you've got the opportunity, just based on the way it's set up, to possibly win within the first after the second game. And with a team like Chappelle, they have done that quite a bit.
And as we have seen, and we saw in the previous match, the 1, 2, 3 averages, the lower 3 averages, there can be a lot of movement there, and a lot of matches are decided in those opening 3 average matches.
Practice is nearly completed, and we can look at the lineups that we expect to see for Central. On the low pair, Catherine Corcoran, a freshman in the 1 spot, Summer Guidry, a senior in the 2 spot, Megan Lee, a senior in the 3 spot. And on the high pair, Magnolia Lee, a senior in number 4, Lindsay Jackson, the aforementioned one who bowled very well in the semifinals in the 5 spot, and Lacey Villarreal, the anchor bowler, in the 6 spot. For Chappelle,
not sure who. We've seen both. We've seen both
spot.
Harvey and Semino Ferrer at the number 1 spot, but 2 through 6 are pretty well set.
Which will be Gabrielle Fisher in the 2, Mary Hamilton in the 3, Olivia Barras in the 4 spot, Madeline Haas in the 5 spot, and Sarah Ruby will be in the 6 hole for Chappelle. The lower end bowlers, the top low average bowlers, will bowl on the lower pair of lanes 23 and 24. The higher average bowlers will bowl on lanes 25 and 26. It is match play, as mentioned, the format. So a point for each match 1, plus the 2 points for total pins in each game, and then the 3 bonus points for total pins at the end of the competition.
And we'll remind you on your screen there, as well as, of course, you'll be able to see the scoring monitors as well to keep up with the individual scores. But again, the magic number is 14. That's what you're trying to get to.
And what we like about this sport, I think all three of us really like the fact that you have the match play competition in this sport. It's head-to-head, and I love that. I mean, I just think it's great when you have that type of competition because you cannot be bowling a good game at all, but you might have a chance to win your match. So every shot you throw means everything. Not to mention it means everything anyway because of the total pins aspect. My point being that there's two ways to be successful here, both winning the match and total pins. You could be losing your match, but if you strike out in the 10th frame, you've saved your team and a lot of pins in the process. We're ready to go here, and we'll find out who's bowling in the one spot for Chappelle as well. As we get set to bowl, here's the first shot of the match from Olivia Barres for Chappelle, and she's got a washout, and we're underway. And then a 7-10 split for Central at number 4 by Magnolia Lee. So tough stuff, tough leaves. So we're underway in this match, and based on averages, Chappelle certainly the clear favorite in this match and the undefeated team. Coming into the match, as we've discussed previously, Miss Spear and Barres almost covers the washout, but headpin went right around it. Good shot, just didn't get the break on the cover. It's well delivered nonetheless. Meanwhile, a good spare for Chappelle in the one spot.
Yeah, it's Lori Semino Ferrer at the one. And again, we've seen both Lori and Mia Bella Harvey bowling at the one spot at different times this year. And one's a 129 average, one's a 128 average. You're getting a chance to get some people, and especially on the younger side. This is a Chappelle team that's senior laden. Ruby, Haas, and Hamilton have been at this for a while and been a part of the lineup. Jessica Ladd was a senior a year ago, graduated. She's now at Quincy University in Illinois. But they've got some younger players who are stepping up. You just mentioned, Olivia Barres at the 4 spot there. She's an 8th grader. There are actually 2 8th graders on this roster.
So a couple of misses here. Summer Guidry left the 10 pin for Central and missed it. And then another miss on a spare shot on high pair. That's a really good cover of the bucket. That's a tough spare to make for Madeline Haas, and she covers it beautifully. As Kent mentioned earlier in the boys' match, spares will win. And that's especially true on the girls' side because you're not going to see the volume of strikes on the girls' side that you see on the boys' side.
That's exactly it, Kenny. You don't see the long strings here, but spares are important. Every spare shot.
Our first look at Sarah Ruby comes up high, leaves the 6'10", highest average bowler. And we'll see today a 203 coming in. And if you go to CrescentCitySports.com, you can go find the interview I did with her when she signed just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. She's number 2 in the state with an asterisk, okay? She's number 1 in the girls bowling side. What you're going to see tomorrow in singles,
very nice cover here.
Yeah.
At the 2 spot for Chappelle by Gabrielle Fisher.
Okay, what you're going to see are 48 girls competing in singles tomorrow, but it will include the girls who have competed in the girls division as well as the girls who have competed in the co-ed division.
Correct, because you can compete in either one.
Right, up in Hammond, Jaden Hauk, who's a junior, set a state record this year with a 213 average, and she's terrific. Has won a lot of junior tournaments as well, and
Mary Hamilton with a good shot here. Look at this bad break, a 4-9. Very good shot and a very bad result. We got some sort of issue going on the high pair here.
Don't believe it.
I think they bowled on the wrong lane is I think what happened.
No, they started on the correct lanes, but I don't know. But the scores didn't switch.
It's not
Scores
flipping.
didn't switch. Okay,
Right.
That's what's happening.
Yeah.
It looks like based on the scoreboard they're on the wrong lane, but the scoreboard didn't flip like it. Because what happens in between frames is these automatic scores flip lanes. It's a nice feature when it works.
Right. In league play, you alternate lanes. They may have reset these and didn't put them in league play, perhaps.
I think that's what's happening here because it's
the
same thing's going on the low pair, so they're just sitting and waiting until they can fix this.
Right. She's going to go ahead and shoot the 4-9 rather than leave it up there and miss it, but they're going to have to make some adjustments to the score. So
correct.
Might have a little bit of a delay until we
could
can get that
because
resolved.
of this, and again, it's all about the automatic setting that has to be put in to these automatic scores before you start. And if it's done right, then it's going to flip sides each time you change lanes as a team. But that did not happen. So as a result, everything is kind of stopped here.
Yeah.
If you come out, sitting and watching.
Right. If you come out and you bowl open play at your favorite bowling center, wherever it might be, Usually it's set up for you to bowl on one lane, and you just bowl continuously on that one lane. And that's, a lot of times, especially on this side of the house where they do a lot of parties and such, it's probably set up that way. And it's just a matter of making sure that it ends up in league mode. And that's something they're going to have to go back. And presumably they can make the adjustment here in short order. So, again, it just gives us a little bit of a delay.
So just waiting for it to be fixed.
It's been a good match so far.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, what we're looking at right now, since we can graphically tell you what's happening, is that Chappelle has a couple of marks on the low pair and on the high pair with 2 open frames, and Central thus far has 2 marks out of 6 bowlers, so a slight edge to Chappelle after 1 frame of play. Today's match on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by Ochsner Sports Medicine Institute. At Ochsner Sports Medicine Institute, each patient receives the same personalized care and innovative treatment as the professional athletes they treat every day. Get back in the game as quickly and safely as possible with a team that treats more than 30,000 athletes per year. Learn more at Ochsner.org/sportsmed.
I don't know if someone wants to write these scores down in case we accidentally lose them when they make the switch, but I've seen stranger things happen.
No, sure.
We'll go back to the honor system. Hey, what did you have in the first frame? A strike, man. Come on, man. Didn't see my strike? Hey, you got to be kidding me.
Funniest thing I've ever seen was, I guess it was 3 years ago, when I bowled nationals at the bowling stadium at South Point in Las Vegas. Half the scores didn't work, and there were people having to keep score manually on paper. One of them was Chad Murphy, the executive director of the USBC, and we're all wondering, okay, everybody who can remember how to keep score manually, raise your hand.
I'm glad you said that, Ken, because that's one of the things that I find interesting in this day and age of everything is automatic scoring. I don't know that a lot of the youth of today who haven't been bowling for a long time know how to keep score.
Well,
if they had to do it, if in a situation like this they said, okay, we got to use paper, and they're going to, I think, reset all these things around, and we'll get it situated in short order. It's exactly what's going to have to happen here, but.
They wouldn't have any idea about writing scores down with those overhead masking units and using those.
They got so hot with those white grease
Did you
pencils.
like the white or the yellow? Which one did you like better?
Yellow.
I like the yellow better personally. Just my preference. What we used to do, though, of course, we played around. Because of the masking unit, whatever you put on that unit showed up on the big screen. So we used to bring all kinds of stuff, toy sharks, because I was called Shark when I was younger, when I bowled. Don't ask me why. And then some other things, too. So we'd put images up there, and they'd be showing up. And then, of course, somebody that worked at Pelican Lanes would come down and say, hey, take that thing off of there.
Hey, no offense to you video guys, but I have a deadline to meet here. I got 2 stories we got to write here.
We're doing the same thing at CrescentCitySports.com as you're doing for the Advocate, but it's all good.
Full coverage coming up.
Yeah.
Of course, with the replays as well.
You bet.
They have to edit this portion out. I don't know. So.
I think anything would be great right now. It's a shame that these kids had to start and stop for this long a period of time. I mean, you warm up and you have practice. It's no different than baseball. You sit there and you practice, you warm up, you get ready, then you have a rain delay or something stops the game. And then you got to get re-amped up mentally, physically. It's all about execution. You felt sharper.
But I will say this.
But this is unfortunate.
Yeah, while it is, at the same time, you can imagine for a lot of these kids who may be bowling in this kind of setting for the first time, this may help take the edge off a little bit too. If you had any nerves, this may help take the edge off a little bit.
May not take the edge off the coaches.
No, absolutely not. I didn't say anything about it. I just said bowler.
No, I'd like to sit here and tell you everything's great, but it's not. At the same time, I'm not going to sit here and assign blame when I'm not sure exactly what transpired.
Now we're getting it set up like it would look in a league situation.
Right.
Here we
so
go.
We got people working on it right now. And of course, it's erased the first frame scores, which they're going to have to reinstitute, which Kent mentioned earlier. We saw that there were 4 spares for Chappelle and 2 spares for Central. That much I can tell you.
Right. They may be able to bring them back in. Let's see if they can, because oftentimes in this day and age with these computers, if you have a lane breakdown of some kind and you've got to switch pairs of lanes to another pair, then they're able to take the scores and move them over to that other pair, resetting foul lights and that kind of thing, which will take just a second. Basically, everything had to be rebooted. It's not unlike a not unlike a computer. So it's
I believe they are putting the scores in now, so we should be able to.
Yeah, they're getting entered. They're getting entered as we speak, so we're getting closer.
Yeah, they may be doing it from back in the control area as opposed to here on the. They're not doing it from. As you and I would do, just right up on the controls next to the lanes and the ball return.
I'm just laughing at this because I grew up at Pelican Lanes, and of course there were never any automatic scores there.
Nope.
Although down the block at Paradise Lanes, they instituted the automatic scores where you had to make the manual switch every time you went up to bowl to push the lever down and then move it to the next color so it would get to the right spot. Because if you didn't do that, it messed up everything. And then when it was registering the score, it would go to make that noise, which was hilarious. And then of course I bowled at Kenner Bowl, which didn't happen.
Your age.
Now where Kent Lowe is concerned, it was plank bowl, circle bowl. That's what I'm thinking.
No, it was, let's see, Tevis Valero and
there we go.
Southgate Lanes.
Southgate, Shreveport.
There you go.
There we go.
Now,
there we go.
What's interesting?
I think we're ready to go here.
I think so, yeah, which is good. But, you bring up the automatic scores at Paradise Lanes. My father shot the first ever 300 game on those automatic scores back in 1971 when 300s were few and far between.
Very rare.
Yeah, very rare. Yeah, and now we, as of earlier this month, we have 3 generations of 300 in the house. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Just one in mine. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But multiple. How's that?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
You got more than me.
But don't tell anybody.
No, I got a feeling that it's when it's all said and done, Jacob will have way more than me.
All right.
There we go.
We're going to have bowling here, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
After probably a 10-minute delay, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
Something like that. So here we go. We're back underway in frame number 2, and here's a 6 count. Delivered for Central by their number 4 bowler, who is Magnolia Lee. 2-hander for Chappelle. Again, we see a lot of 2-handers. That's right through the bevel. That's ugly.
Ooh.
Ugly stuff there. Not fun. You're just thinking, too. And, okay, I want to ask you, Kent, before this spear shot by Central's made it in a 9 count. Do you take the automatic, too, going right to left, or you try to split the 310 and get it across?
I'm going to try to see what I can do with the 310.
Which is what she's trying to do. And, no, she isn't. She did exactly what I thought, which is take the safe 8, and guess what? I think that's the right move to make.
You may be right.
Because your odds of making the 310 are probably less than 50%.
It's probably a 50-50 proposition. Maybe not. Maybe a little bit less for some of these girls.
I think she made the right move taking the 8.
But the thing is, if you make the 310 in the right fashion, you've got a great chance of converting that.
This is as good a stroke as you're going to see just now for Archbishop Chappelle by Madeline Haas. Everything was perfect there.
Yeah, I like Haas's game.
Got a really good game.
Yeah, I think and remember this about girls as opposed to boys bowling is women's bowling is an NCAA sport. See a lot of it in Louisiana. You've got Southern, Tulane, Louisiana Tech, all competing. Grambling as well. So the bottom line is, if you're pretty good, you've got a chance to earn yourself a college scholarship.
Indeed. Solid 10-pin for Ruby. Very good shot. And now a beautiful shot. Carrying all 10 in the pit. Beautifully done by Lacey Villarreal, the anchor bowler for Central. Ruby on the cover. And that's what sets her apart, is her ability to shoot spares typically, but unable to make this one here. You don't average over 200 when you're not a huge strike thrower unless you're very accurate. She is. That's a rare miss that you just saw. Because her game is simple, and she's low to the foul line, and she really looks at and hits her target virtually all the time. Well, this is what we call the Greek church. Ugly stuff. No chance to make it. It's all about count again, how you attack it. This is a situation where you absolutely shoot for the 3 pins. Pin count's so important. You don't want to lose too many pins, not on anything, so get the 3 here and you won't lose count. That's what she did. So that's exactly what you want to see happen from Magnolia Lee. And a spare for Archbishop Chappelle. Olivia Barras. Oh, a solid 10-pin on a really good shot here in the 1 spot for Chappelle by Ferrari. Speaking of 1s, there's a 1 count. Don't want to see that. Good release. Good shot. Boy, Haas throwing the ball extremely well. Out of the box with a spare and a double. 5-pin.
Best start anybody's off to. And again, this type of setting, a state championship, of course, you can expect some nerves early on. Whether you're, a 203 average bowler like Sarah Ruby, or when you're in the number 1 spot in the lineup, I don't think it makes that much of a difference.
Ruby keeps into 1-3, leaves a 5-pin. Watching here, the 1 spot for Chappelle. Ferrari.
Good pickup.
Covers it up. Well, she's now 3 consecutive spares. That's a great start for the number 1 spot for Chappelle. Ruby practicing her strike shot as she makes the 5-pin.
Yep.
Enables you that opportunity to do so with that particular leave.
Ooh. Good break there for Fisher in the 2 spot.
3 count here.
Went right through the face, but yet carried it. Kent, why do you think the participation levels out of the Baton Rouge area are the greatest in the state? You wouldn't necessarily expect that, but it is. I mean, it's the area that produces, the most teams and the most participants in this sport, whether it's on the high school level or just the junior level, I think, period.
Well, there are a lot of schools involved in Baton Rouge in bowling. There's no doubt about it. I think this year, because of COVID and because of the practice limitations and some situations with the pandemic, I really think that there were more teams, but not as many teams that were as competitive as past years in the girls. But there's a lot of schools that want to participate in bowling in Baton Rouge and have really tried to get some things organized in the last 4 or 5 years. It's been an easy sell. Now, here's the thing, guys. Losing the bowling center, where a lot of them bowled, is going to be an interesting thing next year to see how many of those will still be able to, compete at All-Star and take their games over there,
Good start for Chappelle as Haas continues to bowl great. She's got 3 in a row now, and she's throwing the ball just terrific. And there's a perfect shot by Ruby. So this one is looking good early on for Chappelle. We'll set the matches in the 5th frame as we're accustomed to doing. Anything prior to that is a little bit premature because, as you know, bowling, it changes very quickly. With an open frame or a double, things can swing 20 pins in 1 shot. Beautiful shot here for Central. About as well executed as you're going to get with that particular stroke. Just very, very well done by the number 4 bowler for Central, Magnolia Lee, with their first mark of the game. Comes in an opportune time. Meanwhile, her opponent, Olivia Barra, is bowling now. Gets a 5-pin. Keeps the ball nicely in play. But that is a lot of velocity, and that's the result. Huge lift, tremendous loft down the lane, and a strike results, and that's very good stuff.
Boy, that ball had a nice movement
Lindsay
to
Jackson.
the head pin.
Yeah, Lindsay Jackson. She bowled so well earlier, as Lenny mentioned, but that was her first mark of the game.
Been a slow start so far.
Nice cover here. So a good job for Chappelle making spares. Olivia Barres handles that. And the same is true of the number 1 bowler for Chappelle, Lori Semino-Ferreri, who converted 4 spares already. In the 1 spot, that's huge for the girls in competition where the averages aren't as good. Haas has been terrific. Another really good shot, but she leaves a soft 10-pin. But again, smooth. You don't even hear the ball hit the lane. She's smooth as can be with her release.
Nice
and a nice pickup here for Central by their anchor player, Lacey Villarreal.
She does well. She just gives kind of a down and in shot and just gets the ball toward the pocket.
Nice conversion by Barres. And you got to give a lot of credit to Semino-Ferreri. She's keeping everything in play, but unfortunately, this one goes right through the nose for a split. Typically, if you're on the head pin, good things are going to happen unless it's right on the head pin. And if you don't have speed, which is the case there,
big shot early.
You have a hard time breaking it up.
Big shot early for Ruby.
And she can't get a shaker and leaves a tough spare. That's tough. The 4-5's hard. I mean, you got to make a perfect shot to make that spare.
Yeah, but it's a lot easier when the 7's not standing with it.
That's also true. Villarreal leads that match at number 6, which is important for Central to have a chance to win this match. If they can win matches at number 6, they're going to have a chance. Because Ruby is the best bowler on the pair. Yeah, what a nice cover. That's sweet.
That's very nice.
I hate that spare. I used to hate to shoot that, man.
I don't mind the 4-5. It's the 4-5-7 that drives me
nuts. That's because you can get 2 and you can't. It's so hard to get 3.
It takes just the right shot. How you hit the 4. Sometimes you're trying to take the 4 off the wall and take out the 7. So look at Barres on 25 now. Any guess, Ken, on who her idol is with that form?
Go ahead.
1-2-hitter. Jason Belmont.
Yeah. Beautiful double for Central by Magnolia Lee. Yeah. As she closes the gap significantly, and now she's going to be in a position to have a chance to catch her opponent. Look at this, and here's another double. So 2 straight doubles for Central. Here come the Wildcats. Lindsay Jackson firing away.
So she'll shoot the 3-6-7-10 here.
Yeah, boy, that's a big miss.
Yeah, 3 pins.
That's a lot of pins there, and now that match changes completely. At number 4, that's a quick change at number 4.
Right, to finish the story.
It's a 5-pin match now.
Yeah, when she was in grammar school, she did a project on Jason Belmonte. Sent a picture of it to Belmonte and got a letter back from him congratulating her. What a great job that she did.
Mary Hamilton strikes for Chappelle. And then there's a nice spare for Central at the 1 spot. Catherine Corcoran, who's doing a good job. And Catherine Corcoran now is sitting on the lead in her match. So Central has turned some matches around here as we get to the midway point of this first game. That's what I said. It changes very quickly. Another good spare for Central. Very good frame for Central in the 6th frame on the high pair. Villarreal converts. So the Wildcats competing very well here in game 1. This is your quintessential backup ball. 8 count. Whatever gets it done.
Kent, you were talking about what you saw during the early rounds over at All-Star, and what I believe it was Central Lafourche had a handful of backup
5
balls.
of them that threw backup balls.
Yeah. Megan Lee with a strike for Central. And now coming back with a strike for Archbishop Chappelle is Barres, who gets it done. So she's fighting back after that rough frame she had in the previous frame. Ruby with a good release, slaps out the 10. She's still down 6, but right in the match. So we look at what we're staring at right now. Yeah. Over on the low pair, Chappelle is up in 2 of the 3 over Central. That's through the nose, and that'll be a split. And on the high pair right now, it is Chappelle's up by in 1 match. Correct. So it's 3-3 right now in terms of who's ahead. That's how this can go. In the last 3 or 4 frames, this thing could go either way, and that's going to miss pins right there. That's not a good shot. When you're losing pins on splits, you got to take the pins. Central coming on. There's another spare ball. Today's match on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by Riverlands Insurance Services, who encourages you to make your insurance game plan today. Riverlands is a proud recipient of the Top Insurance Workplace Award for 2019 from Insurance Business America. Call Riverlands at 1-800-336-4579 or go to riverlandsinsurance.com.
This is an interesting shot for...
Well, let's take a look at Lindsay Jackson here. She's thrown two in a row that she's just stuck right in the 1-3. There's another good-looking shot. Nope, just a little bit high. Excellent.
That's a big conversion.
Big conversion after a one count because she was on a strike. Ruby unable to double, so she still trails in her match.
Seems like
against
she's got
Lacey Villarreal.
Yeah, she's got a better look on the left lane on 25 than she does on 26 at this point. Has to make an adjustment on lane 26.
Missed spear by Jackson. Very good shot at number 2 for Chappelle by Gabrielle Fisher, but left the 10-pin. Trails in her match. Good spear by Ruby. To stay close in her match with Villarreal, who's up now with a 6-pin lead in the 7th frame. Got out of that very nicely. Oh, get the love tap, but can't get the 10 out. 5-pin lead with a conversion. Missed spear for Chappelle. And a flush strike.
Really, yeah, five is in control, and that's about it at this point. Everything else is still very wide open, although Mary Hamilton's
triple now, so she's
up 27 in her match.
Look at Lindsay Jackson continuing to throw strikes. She's thrown 4 out of the last 5. Now she really heats up.
Look, what she's doing is making the total
very much so
closer.
Tough miss there. So that really helps Central. They take the lead at number 4. This is anybody's game right now. This thing is that close across the board. And unfortunately can't cover there. So Central winning at 1 for sure. And that's wide by Barras. Good backup ball here. Is he going to make it? Oh, my. That's the 10. Tough break.
Still a 22-pin lead,
missed spare here, so Villarreal now looking up at Ruby.
18-pin match at number 6 right now with Sarah getting up.
So Central's going to win. It looks like it's going to win at number 1.
And
Central's going to win at number 2. And there's a strike. Well done. At number 2, so Central in control of those 2 matches. Mary Hamilton up in her match.
Key match right now is at number 4, as I see it, Ken. They're going to the 10th frame right now.
Yeah, it is. 4 is the one that really is closest. Yeah. Good release, great shot. She stays in her match with Hamilton. And there's a double for Ruby, the first one she's come up with as she starts to find it.
First strike she's thrown on that right-hand lane, and she's getting to her good lane here for the 10th frame with a chance to strike out for 218.
So pins matter, but so do these matches. There's 1 or 2 matches, one in particular that's worth watching for sure. That's through the bevel, and there's a 9 count for Chappelle on a missed spare. Again, it's not just the match, it's the total pins. Nice strike. Oh. And there's a big miss there. 5 count. And a missed spare here. But should be a winner anyway. It is a winner.
Yep.
So Central wins at number 1 when Chappelle still had a chance there. Hamilton strikes again. That's huge.
4 in a row. He's still leading that by 2.
Look at this cover. Tremendous cover. Can't win the match, but that's a fantastic cover and saves her team a bunch of pins. You're looking at a 5 count.
Wow.
So instead, you end up with a spare.
Yep.
And now a fill ball.
Yep. Chance to get it to a 4-pin match. You won't win it. Won't claim the point. But, again, keep in mind total pins.
Lindsay Jackson splits after she had the double. Now after that terrific cover, a 7 count for a 151 game for Olivia Barres. A little bit below her average, but competitive. But a win for Magnolia Lee, 158 to 151. Nice spare. Brought that ball back. Did Gabrielle Fisher. 145 game for Lindsay Jackson. And now Haas. Nice shot. Haas has bowled a very good game.
A chance to strike here in the 11th to get it over 200.
Some things are changing in the 10th frame here. And another strike. Chappelle starting to make up some pins here.
A chance at 3 200 games.
Exactly. And struggling to win.
3 is not over by any means.
No.
Mary Hamilton's got a chance to strike out for 244, but it's not over by any means.
Villarreal finishes at 159. Haas a little bit wide on that one. Good solid 9 count there. And that's a big cover. Tough cover. 4-pin spare is always a good cover. Haas will try to finish up, see if she can get 3 here. She'll fall just short of 200, but a very solid game. Good job as she gets a 198 game. So a good game by Madeline Haas. Washout. Good spare here. Oh my, the ball backed up.
Yep. Ran away.
So Hamilton in control at number 3. Ruby. Well, she owns that lane. Corcoran shot 156. That match is not over yet. Number 1 spot.
Nope. Now it is. I think. No. I'm sorry. That's wrong. No, that's.
No, we haven't seen Simino Ferreri yet.
Right. Can't get used to these scores.
I know everything
switch
flipping.
sides. Yeah.
Ruby looking for another. Boy, set it down wide.
That's wide.
Not going to get there. But a good finish nonetheless here for Sarah Ruby.
Finish in the low 200s.
Yeah, she worked her way up, and she'll bowl her average slightly above. A miss here.
Still going to be a win at 1.
Yeah, she'll win at 154 at number 2.
All right. Attention goes to lane 23 at this point. If Lori Simino Ferrer can throw a couple of strikes right here, yeah, she could throw 2 strikes in the 10th frame. She could steal this match.
Sarah Ruby shoots 205. Seven count here. So here we go.
So you look at the
unable to double, so that's going to be a win for Central.
Right.
That's a win for Central at 2. Chappelle wins at 3. And then on the high pair, you're looking at Chappelle winning 2 of 3. So it's a 3-3 match, but that's all about total pins at this stage.
And that's where Chappelle has really stretched it here at the end.
Yeah, it looks like a 5-3 game for Chappelle.
5-3, but it's the margin's going to be over 100 at this point.
Good spare here as well.
No, I'm sorry. The bar, it's still no. They've got, but even with the, it could be that high because their bowlers are finished on the left hand, on the right, on the left pair. Central's done, and Chappelle's bowlers still have to bowl all of these frames.
Well, this was solid by Central on the low pair. They shot 156, 154, 153. All 3 of those bowlers came way above their averages.
Yeah.
Way above.
And that's how they've been doing it here in the playoffs.
Yep.
6 count here for Simino Ferreri. She shoots 142 above her average, but does not win the match. But again, you're looking at 156, 154, 153. And the averages of those bowlers, 124, 115, and 111. That's a huge upgrade.
That's about 100 pins over, yeah.
Yep.
So let's see. This is key to see just how Chappelle finishes us out. They've got 2 bowlers left to bowl on lane 23.
And Central opened in the last frame.
Right.
Both the 5th and 6th bowlers.
Which, depending on what happens here with this pinfall, they're going to stretch total pins over 100.
It could be over 100. Yes, that's what I'm looking at because you see the high pair margin and you see the low pair margin has grown. With another mark or 2, or especially if you get another strike from Hamilton.
Central doesn't get a mark in the 10th on either side.
Yeah, the 10th frame killed them. They still win 3 matches, but total pins, they really suffer. This is way out of bounds, so that's a miss at 118. Well, Fisher struggled in that game. And now it's up to Hamilton to see if she can make up some pins. She's got her match won, but it's a matter of how many pins she can get to give Chappelle a working margin here hushed. Oh, she absolutely stuffed it.
Wow.
She's been the emotional leader of this team, and she's been the best bowler on this team in this game. I mean, she has been fired up both on and off the lanes, and it's showing. She's in the 230s right now, guys.
All right, chance to strike out for 244. And if she does, you're looking at a margin of 133. That's got
She's in there.
work to do. Yep.
Left the chin pin. Bounced it a little bit, but another good shot. Nonetheless.
And so she makes the spare. The margin's 122. And that's right at 10:47 for an opening game with a spare for Chappelle as opposed to 9:25. So I guess 122, I should say. 122 will be the margin.
For the chin pin, right on it. Good shot. So Chappelle getting it done with a solid win, 5-3. So Chappelle up 5-3, and Lenny, give us that margin again.
122. Chappelle shoots 10:47, and Central shoots 9:25.
So there you have it. Today's match on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by Riverlands Insurance Services, who encourages you to make your insurance game plan today. Riverlands is a proud recipient of the Top Insurance Workplace Award for 2019 from Insurance Business America. Call Riverlands at 1-800-336-4579 or go to riverlandsinsurance.com. And today's match on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by the Greater New Orleans USBC, serving men, women, and youth bowlers in the New Orleans area. Contact your local bowling center today to learn more about leagues, tournaments, and other opportunities to enjoy the sport of bowling. Or learn more at gnousbc.org. And our thanks to Claude Mayer and the board for their support of high school bowling. Greatly appreciated. We appreciate a good competitive first game where Chappelle defeated Central 5-3, pulled away late total pin-wise, but still a 5-3 match game on. This is competitive.
No doubt.
Kent, if Central's low pit can continue to bowl that way, Wildcats will have a chance.
Yeah, that was a good match for them.
Yeah.
That was very good.
Yeah.
And
at the end of the day, though, you've got to make up some of this gap in total pins, though, Ken.
Yeah.
I saw one earlier in the playoffs where a team won their match without winning total pins, but it is very rare that happens.
You cannot go to the 10th frame and have no marks in the 10th. That's a killer.
Second game underway. Lineups appear to be the same.
I think in the grand scheme of things, guys.
Gutter ball here.
Coach Godley.
Don't see that much.
Coach Godley's happy with the way his Central team bowled overall. And Coach Ruby's happy because he got the 1,000 that he wanted his team to get each game.
Yep. Semino Ferrari opens with a strike for Chappelle. Now we watch Barras if she can recover from a gutter ball. Ends up with an 8 out.
And it's a natural reaction to maybe miss your target left after you miss right and end up in the channel.
And another gutter ball. Well, you don't see that very often. 2 in a row. Lindsay Jackson a little too far right with that one. And now a strike by Fisher. She scuffled in game 1. If she can get going, that's going to mean big things for Chappelle. Unable to convert a spare here. And unable to convert after the gutter ball, Jackson. So a few open frames here. And a good spare. Conversion by Haas. Hamilton went right through the 6. And pin went right through it. Wasn't a great shot, but you don't see that where the pin goes right through him. It never touched either one of them. That's hard to do. Great shot by Ruby to start game 2. She's killing that left lane.
Yeah, and it looks like she made a good adjustment. We'll see if she can maintain that on the right-hand lane.
Good spare here for Central in the 3 spot by Megan Lee. Beautiful shot here for Central at number 4 by Magnolia Lee. See if Barras can rebound. Boy, she's sending it wide, and she got it back. Through the gutter ball, but she shows you she's got no fear. She sent that out to about the 3rd board, Kent.
And I'll tell you,
it fired back.
I'll tell you, Ken. I mean, I've had a chance to watch Olivia bowl a little bit. She is not afraid of anyone or anything. You love that kind of mentality.
Yeah.
In any kind of athlete, okay? But
Ferrari with a split.
oh, what a bad break!
Another bad break for Haas on a 4-9.
That was a terrific shot.
Not much you can do about it. Obviously, Lindsay Jackson coming back from the gutter ball gets 9. So 2 straight first shot gutter balls for Jackson. It's kind of hard to recover from that. And then a missed opportunity here. Tried to make the split and missed the pins. Boy, you just want to get pins in those situations. And she went for it, Haas, and she missed a pin. Cost her 2 pins.
One. It was on a spare, so
Well,
it's not a big risk in that situation.
No, 1 pin's not a terrible thing, but
on a makeable
2 pins or more, you're going to lose
no doubt.
upwards of 4 pins.
If that's a strike, if that's a strike up, it's certainly a different situation.
Ruby on the right lane where she's thrown 1 strike. Well, now she's thrown 2. If she gets lined up, look out. Oh, good shot here, but unable to get the break. Fisher was looking for a double, came close. And a good spear conversion here by Villarreal. For Central, through 2 frames now. Good release, but a little bit high. Almost got the cave-in strike. 9 count.
Was watching that pin roll across the deck, headed toward trying to slap out the 6-pin from the backside, and it
didn't
just
quite
gave
have
it a
enough
little
on
wiggle.
it.
Yep.
Magnolia Lee sending it too wide here.
When you go,
here's what happened there. She got the previous ball out to about the 3 board, but she got it out there early. This time, the ball starts in the oil. By the time it gets to the dry, it doesn't have enough time to recover.
and you got to throw it a lot slower when you go that wide with it.
But the oil in and out of the oil makes it hard to get it back. Good effort. Hamilton has to go cross lane with a short approach.
Well done.
Beautifully done. Got a good game. I can't imagine there's any better number 3 bowler in Louisiana.
No, that's again. I go back to the depth conversation. Sarah Ruby's number 1 among girls in the girls division, number 2 overall among girls in the
Good
state.
release here, but wide, and that's a bucket.
Yeah.
Tough stuff.
Yeah.
First time she's missed that lane in terms of the pocket.
Yeah, but you go down the line 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I would imagine they have an average advantage over any team in Louisiana. So it's just at that point you have over the course of time outperformed your opponent. It's just a matter of going out and executing.
And there's some depth there too, because there's Ruby first for the spare, and beautifully done. And a bucket just missed here.
Yeah.
Good effort nonetheless for Chappelle by Fisher. No, let's also reveal they had another higher average. It's not participating.
Right.
So you have the depth that you talk of. You can have a higher average that's not participating, and you're still in this position, and you're still better than everybody else average.
And you've got a 128 bowler who's not in right now, who's sitting on the bench.
Who's good enough to compete.
128 for a lot of teams in the state would be on a right-hand pair. So,
strike delivered by Barres. And she's down by 23 right now.
Yeah, Lee's up right now.
A straight 5-pin here.
Lee's up right now in lane 25. She had a 128 season average. She's in the number 4 spot.
Right.
Okay, and
bowling well.
Yeah, and
she had a 158, 30 pins over average in game 1, and she's off to a very good start in game 2. Mm-hmm. Bowling. You don't want to say way over your head. You're maximizing your ability. I don't believe in such a thing as people make that statement all the time. They performed. Oh no! If you did it, that means you were capable of doing it. Thank you. So you maximized your ability. You did the best you could possibly do on that given day. Hamilton almost made it, but unfortunately unable to get it there. There's a good shot here by Lindsay Jackson, but can't carry the 10-pin. Hamilton has a rare open frame. Opens the door for Central, who's in much better shape this game early on. Keep in mind, game one was very competitive most of the way. And they did win 3 matches, just weren't close enough in total pins. Strike here. Jackson can't convert, but a strike again. The low pair is doing a very good job for Central, Kent. There's Corcoran with a strike. She had a 156 game on a 111 average in game one.
Yeah, they've been very good today in this.
This is not going to get there.
But still got a lead at 3 at this
3-pin
point,
match. Yeah. Ruby, nice conversion on the 10-pin. Love to see these bowlers make those corners.
Any of us love to see corners made.
I was one of those that always switched balls to shoot cross lane.
Oh, yeah.
The only problem with that is, boy, you had to have confidence in the feel of the other ball that you picked up, because no two balls feel the same. They just don't.
You see more and more people going to all grips now instead of just finger grips. You've got something in the thumb. So in theory, there shouldn't be, unless there's just a minor difference in your span or, the layout, then it should feel basically the same.
Theoretically, you're correct, but somehow it never quite does it? Did any two balls ever feel the same to you? No. They never did to me. Never. And maybe part of that is mental as well. And let's be honest about this, completely honest.
You know what it's supposed to be, and you know what it's supposed to do, and that affected part of it as well. Good-looking shot.
Perez with a good shot there. Messed up the rack, but couldn't get the 7 out. Unable to convert. Good effort, nonetheless, by Simino Ferreri. And a miss here on the other side by Central. So we'll get you caught up in the 5th frame about the matches. Who's up in these respective matches. Let's watch Simino Ferreri try to cross lane here. Using the whole lane. Beautiful. That's what she's comfortable doing. Kent, obviously the shorter distance is to go straighter at it. But if you're used to turning it, which a two-hander does, you're better off using the lane, right?
The straighter mantra is not as applicable these days.
We saw Andre Paella from Brother Martin in the boys match, and that's, he'll go slower and swing the ball at spares, at the 6-pin and the 10-pin. He's a two-handed left-hander, but that's what he's comfortable doing.
Villarreal, good shot. 5-pin, though. Shook the 5, couldn't get it out. Washout, on the other hand, for Haas, who left it wide. Kind of opened her shoulder just a tad on that one. Missed spare here. And Haas doesn't make any. That is a big miss, which opens that matchup a little bit too. Was not competitive, now it is. And then a big miss by Villarreal, missed the 5-pin. That hurts. Can't have your anchor bowler miss a 5-pin. Not against a good team. Hamilton and Ruby both ready to shoot. Hamilton will go first. Not off to as fast a start as she finished last game. Needs a mark to take the lead in her match. She's high. Got away with it. Ruby with a good release. Flush on. Again, all but one frame on that lane. She's been locked in.
Yeah, got that shot in the 3rd frame wide and left the bucket, but other than that, she has been nails on lane 25.
I don't believe she's going to give up that singles ground tomorrow without a fight.
Oh no, that's going to be fun to watch, is the singles on the girls' side, because you've got, the scores aren't necessarily as high as what you see on the boys' side, but you've got some really talented bowlers.
Yeah, Hamilton with that very short approach to the conversion.
Yeah.
I mean, she lines up as I think she takes a baby step to get to 4, but it almost looks like a 3-step approach. She's so tight to the foul line.
That's why I kind of like the divisions are separate tomorrow, because the girls really get their due tomorrow, which I don't think they've had in the past some years.
Much like this, having the boys and girls final at staggered times. I like this as well. But you look, today, Kent, between the semis and the finals, we've seen 4 of the top 5 seeds on the girls' side in Sarah Ruby. Ashton Yoch is from Dutchtown. His team got knocked out in the semis. Hannah Grather from East Ascension, who's on a co-ed team. They reached the semis. She was bowling number 6 on a co-ed team. Averaged 192 this year, and she was actually a little bit down from a year ago, so she's capable of doing that. And then you've got Madeline Haas here, who will be the number 5 seed.
Lindsay Jackson with a strike. 9 out here, and then Haas can't carry the 10-pin.
Yeah, I mean, having a chance to watch Jaden Houck bowl for the first time last week, very impressed with her game. I really like the game of Paris Mendonis, who's the freshman out of Airline. I believe she's a freshman, maybe a sophomore.
I think that's right.
Yeah, but I mean, she competes in the U15 division. She averaged 184 this year. I really like her game. She's got a chance to be, you know, a big-time bowler in Louisiana high school bowling over the next 3 years.
A young bowler from out of
Hamilton with a strike.
Airline.
And another miss for Villarreal. She's struggling to make spears.
Won earlier as a freshman a few years ago. Little Quinley from up
Ruby with a double.
Yes.
Yep.
So Ruby doubles with a nice shaker. She's in good shape, so let's set the match scenario for you right now. It's Central up in number 1. Number 2 is dead even. Chappelle up in number 3. Chappelle's up in 6. Chappelle's up in 5. And 4 is, I'm waiting, 4 is a lead for Central.
So still fairly even.
Yeah, still a 4-2, 3-3 type match. Similar to match 1. There's a beautiful strike. Extremely well done there by the number 1. Today's match on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by Louisiana Operation Lifesaver, dedicated to reducing collisions, fatalities, and injuries at highway rail crossings. Remember, when you see tracks, think train. For more information, follow them on Facebook or visit laoperationlifesaver.org. Another excellent shot for Central here at number 2, so that's a strike for Summer Guidry.
Tomorrow when we get the singles back in Baton Rouge at All-Star Lanes, 80 boys and 48 girls. And it's
good spare here. So good conversion by Jackson.
That's a sprint. Let me tell you, four games. You bowl 2 games on one pair, move over to your next pair over and bowl 2 more games. That's basically a sprint.
Haas is wide again.
Hopefully in a year or 2 we'll get to a point where we can have a stepladder finals to that thing for television and for streaming purposes, as they say.
Yep.
And
the gutter ball here. Boy, it's been a struggle for Villarreal. She's had 2 straight opens and now a gutter ball, and they need her in a bad way.
Yeah.
Haas, good conversion to maintain the lead in her match.
I think the back-to-back single pin misses have shaken her up a little bit.
Good game going at number 4, Magnolia Lee, who's pulling exceptional for Central. Way over average in game 1. She's shooting an even bigger game here. She's filled the box in all 7 frames to this point. Villarreal with an 8 out. Ruby tries for a 3-bagger. Good release.
Oh,
good
that
shot.
Was beautiful. Right off the hand.
Yeah.
Love her hand position.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
And what we're seeing here, I think, Ken, is you mentioned we've got a chance at perhaps 3-3 again, and it would be 5-3. But the lead on total pins is stretching. It's basically a wash on the left side, but you look at the right side.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah, and it's solid right now.
Well, here's Magnolia Lee. She makes another good shot, but leaves a 7-pin. She may be the bowler that's bowling the best of anybody, given her scores, because compared to her average, she's been just outstanding. Spear attempt coming up for Fisher. She's got it. And also a good spare for Barras. And Lee unable to convert the 7-pin. So that's the first open frame for Magnolia Lee comes in the 8th frame. She's still comfortably up in her match by 21. Unable to convert here. Good shot, but a 4-pin for Haas. Haas not having her typical good game, but she's still competitive. Hamilton tugged that one. On a strike, though, she needs a conversion to maintain her lead. That's wide. Good spare by Haas.
So, Kent,
we'll watch Hamilton because she's got to convert this to maintain the lead in her match at number 3.
Big shot. Kent, we've seen now a couple of unique scenarios of hosting state championship team events with the with the one at the River Center the year the USBC Women's Championship was here, and now this setting. What's your thoughts on what we've seen here in particular today?
I agree that this is something
Ruby high, and she's big washout.
The LHSAA wanted, which was something different and unique. And I think they got it. And really, the atmosphere here has been pretty good today. I think there's some potential here for this. I think it's good to bowl the divisions separately so that each get their own due. And it'll be interesting to see what the LHSAA wants to do next year. They were the ones that really wanted to come here in 2020 when it was postponed.
Well, all 3 matches on the low pair are in favor of Central right now. That's swung significantly. So the Wildcats up in all 3 matches on the low pairs. We need to focus in on this. And the 10-pin left here by Hamilton. She hadn't been able to get it going in this game and trails in her match by 4 now. And there's another good shot by Magnolia Lee. I mean, she is the story for me at this point. Way over her average in both games. She's just getting it done. And she's up in her match.
So they've got a chance.
They're up in 4 matches right now, and they got a chance at 5.
Yeah.
And there's a really good spear shot here. Well done for Central by Corcoran. And then a crossover strike for Barres to stay in the match.
See, her older brother Josh is in the back cheering her on. That's unique. I mean, probably had brothers and sisters or siblings competing for the same school over the course of time bowling. This is a brother and a sister who have both bowled for a state championship now at different schools. Where he'll compete in singles tomorrow. He's a senior, the anchor for Archbishop Rummel. They were in the finals 2 years ago against Brother Martin.
And a couple of strikes, one for each team here.
Haas with a big shot there. You were talking about that match getting a little tighter. It's still a 14-pin match right now.
But she's on a strike.
That strike in the 9th will go a long way.
It will. Central has a shot to win 4 matches here. Here's a missed spare. So we look at that match. That's now within 5 pins. An excellent shot by Ruby as she rebounds.
That's where your total pin.
That's where they're making up all the pins at the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. She's got a 70-pin lead right now at 6.
Correct.
So even if Central wins 4 of 6 individual matches, Chappelle is still in good position here
for a 4-4 game.
Right.
There's a 10-pin. Good shot by Villarreal. Can't carry though. Here's Lee, the story for Central. Made another pretty good shot. Leaves a 4-7, but she's still going to shoot a minimum of what, 168 if she doesn't make it, but she could shoot 180.
Right, spare strike for 182, which would shut out Barres at the 4 spot.
Right, she needs a spare basically here. For the 10-pin, a real good conversion there as Villarreal bounces back. Good to see that. There's a big shot for Lee. Crosses lane, looks good. Got it. So again, Magnolia Lee has been the story for Central. She's really just given her team a chance with a terrific performance. She's on a 180 pace here, 182 if she strikes. And again, she was 30 pins over the first game of her average. In this game, she shoots 181, which basically assures nothing less than a tie in her match. So Magnolia Lee 181 with a 128 average. Tells you what you need to know. Yeah. She's just been terrific. Yeah. Barras needs to strike out to have a chance. She does not. So that's a win for Central.
Now, here's what's interesting. When you have simultaneous action going on across two pairs of lanes like this, the high pair is finishing much faster than the low pair.
Correct.
So Chappelle's up in the 8th frame.
Lindsay Jackson needs this one, and she got it. She's still in the match. Barras able to spare. And not able to spare here, so that's more pins. And Central is well on their way to winning at number 1. So again, the low pit for Central has been a plus in this match, along with Magnolia Lee. Barras to finish up here. Finishes at 158. So close to her average in both games, but below it both games. Meanwhile, Jackson, she gets the trip. She has a chance. This could change the match. If she wins at number 2, now this thing gets really interesting. Not that it isn't already. This is a big shot.
Needs a mark.
She's wide, and she's not going to mark. And that match has changed completely. Looks like Jackson's going to win at number 2, unless she's got to keep it on the lane. Remember, she's thrown in the gutter a couple of times.
Yeah, not only that, you keep in mind, Hoskin also.
She did, and did the good job, threw it at the head pin and gets a strike.
Holy cow.
161. What a finish for Lindsay Jackson. What a finish for Central. Just the opposite of game 1 when they struggled in the 10th frame. This game, it's just the opposite.
Still needs a mark, though.
She must mark to have a chance. Can she convert this washout? Nope. So a big win for Jackson coming from behind. And a 151 game here. Haas well below her average. They need to get Villarreal going.
She just needs a bunch of pins here just to help the count.
Tell you what, you look at this right now too, Ken. Total pins are basically a wash right now in this game. This is...
Compared this 10th frame to last game.
Totally different.
Yep.
And then Ruby throws a bucket. So this game changed dramatically. Yeah, but this game's changed dramatically. Because on the low pair, Chappelle's struggling. And there's another example. They haven't been able to get anything going on the low pair at all in this game. Hamilton gave them a big boost in game 1. But not this time around in game 2. So, Lenny, you're looking at the possibility of a 5-1 here.
And it could be 7-1.
It could be.
Depending on what happens in total.
What a great shot. Coming through big time when they need her. This match has really changed. And Ruby opens at that. So Chappelle with a disastrous finish to this game. Hamilton gets a strike to stay alive in her match, and she still has a chance, and Chappelle really needs her. Ruby with a 195, but a disappointing finish to say the least.
Right. All the action now going to focus to the left-hand pair. Villarreal will throw her fill ball, and then we'll wait on the left side to finish out.
Stone 7-pin. You can't do anything about that. It's a great shot.
Yeah, Villarreal was going to lose her match, but look, give her credit, because when you're in a situation where total pins is close, you got to go get everything you can get. She doubled and got 8. Ruby opened. She took a 70-pin match after 8 and turned it into a 48-pin match. So she cut into that deficit. The difference is only 15 pins. Chappelle wins on the high pair.
First game, Chappelle won by 92 pins on the high pair. This game, Chappelle won by 15. Huge difference, because Central's going to win on the low pair in solid fashion in this game yet again.
That's a big miss there.
Well, unable to convert, so that was a tough spare.
Not over yet by any means. Again, the big thing here could come down to total pins. I'll say this, I'm not necessarily for or against the format that we use here. The only concern I have is this. You're putting the pressure on the number 3 bowlers, and when total pins may decide the whole thing right here in this game. That's it. I saw a shot in the Catholic Vanderbilt quarterfinal at AMF Kenner.
It's a big shot for Hamilton here.
There was a
wide.
Ooh, got away with it.
Fortuitous 9 count. But got her off the strike.
Vanderbilt's anchor got tapped in the 10th frame.
That's a miss.
Okay. He lost the game, and they lost total pins by 4. It was one shot was a 3-point shot. that turned what would have been a 6-2 Vanderbilt lead into a 5-3 Catholic lead.
I like the format. I think it's excellent.
but you'd like it to fall on the anchors. And in this situation, the high pair finished 2 frames ahead, so now it's all on
Hamilton
the low
with
pair.
a big miss spare here. That is a huge miss in the grand scheme of this game. So Chappelle really struggling at the wrong time in this game, and Central coming on strong. Quite a sea change in the attitude. You can just feel it. It's totally changed. So here we go. Important 10th frame shots coming up. And a strike. And a spare, barely, but a spare nonetheless. Huge. Wildcats strong in this game.
Yeah, they were up by 46 when this frame started, so you got to keep the bat. It's 56 with that first shot.
And growing.
Yeah,
and
so
growing. And remember, the margin was 122 after one game.
Right. Again, the big thing right now is this match. Total pins overall is important, but if this is suddenly 9-7 Central going into the last game.
Need to get 2 here.
Even
Well,
even one. I mean,
yeah.
then you're going to force a double on the other side.
Or I should say, it could be 10-6 Central.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, it could be 7-1, which would make it 10-6.
That's what I'm looking at right now.
Although total would be
Chappelle. But by how much? She got 9 out of that, which is good. Very well done. 141 game in the 1 spot for Central.
Central needs some kind of mark here in the 10th just to keep things rolling along. They can't go open.
Good shot. Beautifully done. Outstanding execution by Summer Guidry. Central coming through in this game in the last 2 frames. Really gaining a ton of pins.
That may be a good shot.
With a 4-7, so that match is won by Central, as expected, at number 1. And another great shot.
Wow.
So Central wins at number 2 as well. So a gigantic finish by the Wildcats. By the time they're done, they may have just about have erased all of this total pins, just about, close to it. Not going to happen, so that's going to be a 113 game. Beautiful finish here, so Phil 29 in the 10th frame. Summer Guidry shoots 148, and again, just look at how
that was a shutout as well.
Look at how far over their average Central is bowling. Other than Villarreal, every bowler is well above her average, and that's what it takes to win this match.
And that's exactly what they did in the quarterfinals against Central Lafourche.
Good shot here, but a flat 10.
Nice shot.
So just a mark here would do it. Solid 9 count, so that'll work. You can get to 168 if you're Hamilton, but a mark here would pretty much win it for Central, which would mean a sweep of the low pit and a 5-1 victory in the game and total pins, so they'd win the game 7-1, as you mentioned.
Their season high for game is 959. They're going to come very close to that.
Well, that's what they had to do to win, and they're doing it, and Chappelle is not bowling the way it's capable of bowling. So that all she needs is a 7 count. Of course, that still would require the Chappelle bowler, Hamilton, to strike out. Not out of the question, mind you. Good angle on the spare shot here.
Well done. Didn't have to hit it hard, but it went down.
Hard to hold the line with speed lacking, but good angle nonetheless.
Wow.
And that's a winner at number 3. So Central's going to win this one 7-1. Beautifully done by Central when it mattered most. Wildcats get it done.
Now the question becomes, what are total pins going to look like?
172 game for Megan Lee. Good shot here. Wiggle the 7 pin. No luck for a 133 game for Fisher. Hamilton, with a good finish, could really help the total pin situation and maintain about a 50 or 60 pin lead for Chappelle if she can finish well enough. But she's wide here, and leaves a tough spare. So it's been a very difficult finish for Chappelle in this game, much like it was a very difficult finish for Central in game 1.
It was 10:47 to 9:25 after 1, so it was 122.
Yeah, 122. Right,
so 137 if you count what Chappelle did on the high side, minus what's going to happen on the low side here, which it's
Hamilton with a good spare.
Yep. So with a strike, it would be 57 on the high side. So you do the math there. That's 80 going into the last game, and it's going to be 10-6 Central, but Chappelle with an 80 pin lead in total.
Hamilton finishing up with an 8 count for a 156 game. So we'll do the math and tell you where we're at right now. So 10-6 lead for Central. Going to the final game. And we'll get Lenny to tell you about the total pin situation.
Yeah, I've got it. Let's double check our math here. But so Chappelle with a 906. They're saying 48. I don't have that. That doesn't match what I have.
461 to 402 over here.
Yeah, and then 504 to 489 Chappelle on the other side. So 44.
906.
So 906, 906, and 950.
950, yes.
Yeah.
So that would be a 76 pin
70,
margin.
They said 78 a minute ago. 122,
76, huh?
122 and 44. So it's 78. Yeah.
That's 44. You're right.
Yeah,
78.
44.
Yep.
So
78 pin lead for Chappelle total pins. But what does that all mean? Well, all you got to do is look at the situation here. Central could win. Central could win 3 matches here in game 3 and still lose because of total pins.
Right.
So the bottom line is Central needs to win 4 matches here in game 3 if they want to. They need to win total pins.
Right. They need 4-4 somehow.
Well, they need 4 points one way or the other.
However it happens.
Correct. They need 4 points, which means 4 matches. Even if they don't win total pins, they win the match. So a lot of things could happen here, but here's what I'm looking at. One school is outperforming its numbers, and the other school is underperforming its numbers. So how much does pressure come into this now? Because the longer Central stayed in this match, as I said earlier, the more confidence they would have.
Okay. Away we go in game 3 now.
And
your foul light go off there? Or they just reset them? Okay.
No, that was just when you throw the first ball.
I got you.
It does that.
Barras with a 9 count as we're underway in game 3. Today's match on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by Lamarck Ford. Huge things are happening at the big store in Kenner, including a huge selection of pre-owned inventory in the brand new indoor showroom featuring all makes and models. Come see our remarkable deals and service. Stop by or go to Lamarck.com. Spare for Barras to start off for Chappelle. I think Chappelle needs to excel in the high pit, and Hamilton has to rediscover her game, looking at their winning margin. And for Central, I think they just need to keep doing what they're doing, but get Villarreal going.
Yeah, this is the key right here.
Number 5, perhaps, if Jackson stepped up in a big way. And look, like we talked about with some of these other teams, we mentioned it earlier with Catholic falling behind against Brother Martin. When Brother Martin fell behind here in the regular season against Catholic, this is not a position that Chappelle is used to.
Nope.
How do they respond?
Well, Villarreal strikes, so that's one answer. She gets started in good shape here.
Right. Remember.
And I tell you what, you watch Villarreal.
And a missed spare by right out of the box, that by Haas. Again, the pressure will start to mount on the favorite, a prohibitive favorite. I think that's fair to say.
Sorry, Kenny. If Villarreal can get going, she is a team cheerleader to the max. So, I mean, if she gets going.
Ruby crosses over. And a strike delivered here by Fisher. And a strike delivered as well by Barras. Now you can see both teams getting into it, showing some emotion. Hamilton would seem to be the emotional leader for Chappelle. She was active in game 1, not so much in game 2. Ruby covers up the 6-10. Hamilton tugs that and ends up with double wood. That's tough stuff. An open frame on the other side for Central. Haas makes a good shot. Well, look at Hamilton all over her.
We have got a third game of importance here for
You got
a
it.
change here.
There you go. Yeah, we haven't seen much of this in these finals recently. A nice double wood spare. Look at Hamilton's reaction.
But on the girls' side, I think the matches have been closer over the years. Maybe so, you look at the boys' finals. We've seen, Brother Martin's 2 titles before this year were both 21-6. Yeah, there was a 20-7 over Central and then.
Couple of big strikes for Chappelle in succession. As Ruby strikes, meanwhile on the other lane, you get a strike from Semino Ferreri. So good start for Chappelle in this game.
So to finish the point, AOL over Central 2 years ago was 14.5, 12.5. St. Scholastica over Morgan City in 2017 was 14-13. And in between there, AOL East Ascension was 19-8. So those were not, 19-8 seems maybe like a blowout, but in
No.
bowling, it's not.
It's not at all.
You're talking about probably 10 of 18 individual matches in total. So it's
Central's got to be a little bit careful here now. They've gone 4 bowlers on the low side without a mark.
Lindsay covers her spare. Jackson, good job on that spare. And there's a terrific cover. Boy, I can't say it enough. How good is this young lady bowl? Magnolia Lee. It's amazing. 93 pins over average for 2 games. If Central wins, she'd be the story. There's a double crossing over by Villarreal. That's a huge start. She takes an early lead on Ruby. And a gutter ball for Jackson. We've seen that a couple of times. She gets a little fast with her feet, Kent. And she beats the ball to the foul line. The ball's still behind her. And she's trying to pull it through and doesn't have enough time to do it. And that was on a spare, so that hurts. That's a very difficult 6 count for Barres. Meanwhile, Jackson trying to spare it up, and she does. What a comeback. Huge.
We talked about it off air, Ken. The 3-6-9-10 is the hardest spare there is to make.
Oh, and there's a big double for Chappelle in the 2 spot for Gabrielle Fisher. What a lift that is. Right out of the box in the 2 spot. Here comes Villarreal for a triple. Made a good shot. Oh, boy. Came through it a little bit too good, I think. Ball really came. She's outside, though, Kent, using that angle. And so the ball's going to start a little bit earlier. Same thing happened to Haas just now, and she split. So Haas will be behind in that match after Jackson covered that spare after the gutter ball.
Finally a spare on the low side.
Yep, for Central.
Big spare conversion here. Got it.
Hamilton converts for Chappelle and Villarreal for Central. 9 out here for Haas. A lot of emotion right now, as you imagine there would be.
You'd think they're bowling for a state championship or something.
You would think so. What's that all about, huh?
You know, we talked about being in this situation.
Ruby leaves a solid 10 pin. So that keeps her behind in her match.
Right. Chappelle lost 3.5 points, 2 points, 4.5 points in their 3 playoff matches before this. In the regular season, the tightest match.
Strike for Barras.
The tightest match they were in all year. They came up here to bowl St. Joseph's Academy and won 21-6. That's the tightest match they were in the whole year.
So this is
losing 6
totally
points.
uncharted territory.
Yeah.
Ruby converts to 10. She's down 8 in her match.
Well, let me say, St. Joseph's Academy beat Central twice in the month of March and finished 17th.
There's an excellent conversion in the 1 spot for Semino Ferreri.
In the seedings. Didn't make it.
There's a nice strike for Central, delivered in the 2 spot for Guidry. And a good shot here by Haas, who strikes.
Needed that. Don't want to try to
down
lose
by
contact
13.
in her match. Yeah.
Magnolia Lee with a double wood cover here. Good release. That's a heck of a shot.
Nice cover.
I just can't get over how well she's bowled. I keep saying it.
No kidding.
Yeah. Ten pin doesn't get a break there, looking for a triple.
Man, I've had to go with the monitor here because of all the activity on this thing.
I hear you. Ruby through the nose and a split, and she's now down double digits in her match. So early results split, but a little bit of a bright spot for Central thus far in this game. And that's a solid 9 count. Should be a cover that was made. There's a missed 10 pin. It's hard to maintain that line with the speed. That's going to be a tough spare for her. It's a tough spare for most people. Ruby gets 2. And Jackson for the 5-pin cover. She's got it.
Woo.
Going away.
A little drama.
Got it going away, but she's got it. Nonetheless.
Wait, that ball's hooking.
Little wide here is Fisher. Now Hamilton up on 24.
And big chance for Villarreal on 26.
9 count. Well, Villarreal gets a good 9 count out of that. And look at this. Do I need to say it anymore? Magnolia Lee continues to outperform her season performance. Come through at the right time. Big way. There's a miss by Villarreal when she had a chance to really take control of that match.
Yeah, that was huge.
Could have gone up 21.
Yeah, that keeps that a 10. Big miss of 2 pins right there. Chappelle needs more out of its big bowlers. Right now, they're not getting it.
Right. Now, they're all tight on the right side. All they got to do is flip one of them.
But that's not a good sign when you miss everything on a spare shot when you have a split. You got to get pins. Cross lane, nope.
A lot of pins.
Well, you got to figure the pressure's starting to mount here.
Yeah.
Okay? On both sides.
Yep.
There's a 5-7.
There are a lot of pins being left out on the deck.
Ruby moves in a little bit, makes a good shot, but a flat 10. She's moved in a couple of boards there.
Yeah, after she left the split in the 4th frame.
Right.
Yeah, something
Lindsay
may have
Jackson.
jumped on her,
Crosses over and carries. She's got a solid lead at number 5. So we set the stage for you right now. Chappelle is up on number 4. Central at 5. Central at 6. On the pair pin, on the low pair, Chappelle has the lead in all 3 right now. But they're all competitive. Crossover strike for Villarreal. That's huge. She maintains an 11-pin lead, plus the pin count with the strikeout. Outstanding shot and a bad result.
Yeah,
that's just a terrific shot for Chappelle by Fisher, but can't carry the 7-pin. Meanwhile, there's Magnolia Lee with a strike in the 7th, continuing to perform well. The high pair is going to finish earlier than the low pair. That's obvious. That ball's tugged. Didn't cross over enough. Fisher trying to convert a 1-pin spare. That's not going to do it. So that's going to be an open frame. Still has the lead, but it's a survival mode on the low pair where the scores aren't particularly good right now. Jackson bounces it in a good spot, but left the 10-pin. Barres for the conversion. She got it. Good shot. Needed that to maintain a lead. And Hamilton way off. That's not only way off, but it's a bad count. And and a very, very difficult spare.
Yep.
I mean, a brutal spare to try to convert. Jackson has the speed to convert this spare, but tugs it just a tad. Still ahead in her match. Seven pin. Haas can't get the carry. They need her and Ruby in a bad way to step up now to perform to their ability. That's a 7 out, so that's a costly count there.
Yeah, eight pins of count loss between the first ball and the second ball, and basically that's an even
and that's
match
a double for Villarreal. She opens up this match against Ruby.
Yeah, up by 21.
Huge. Good spare conversion. Ironically, if Chappelle wants to win, they may need it from their low pit. Fisher will be up now. Ferrari got the spare.
Pressure is really going to be on, though, Ken.
A low
because
pit.
again, because of the pace of this match,
gonna
that
be
you've
finished.
got,
Yeah.
the right pair is going to finish probably 2 frames ahead of the left pair, and
let's keep in mind the 78 pin margin right now for Chappelle for total pins, but it's a 10-6 lead for Central.
it's
When Central wins 4 matches of these 6, they win the championship.
or if they win 2 and win total pins in this
7 count on a spare is not a good count, and it's a very difficult spare. Here's a good release here and a really good spare conversion. Very important.
That is
number 1 for Central. Corcoran gets a big spare. Meanwhile, a strike for Ruby as they try to get her going. Really good cover there by Barres. She's excited. That's a tough spare. I don't want to shoot that. No, thank you. I have no desire to shoot that.
good shot.
Really good shot. That's outstanding. A lot of smiles as well there should be.
Ooh.
Tug that, 8 count.
Hung up on her hand a little bit.
Yep.
A little one hopper out there.
I think you're seeing a little bit of result of feeling some pressure
no
on
doubt,
both sides.
No doubt about it. And look,
And
it's
a tough
normal.
spare miss there. Boy, that was a good shot. Didn't happen. So things getting more interesting by the moment. And Chappelle hasn't been in any situation remotely close to this season.
For a
good
while.
Good spare
Remember,
there.
Don't forget this. They haven't lost a regular season match in 3 years. The only loss they've had in 3 years was a quarterfinal 2 years ago to Academy of Our Lady.
Correct.
They had 2 competitive matches with them in the regular season, beat them twice, faced them again in the quarters in a 1-8 matchup.
Hamilton has a 2-pin lead going into this shot. And strikes.
Shot.
That's an important match to watch, the way this one's shaping up.
14
now because of the open frame, she goes up 14.
Right.
Oh, a chopped spare. Hate those. Ruby strikes. So Ruby's starting to find her game. That match is still in play, obviously. So she puts a big strike up there. Big double up and put herself 1 pin down. Or actually 11 down, right? Yep, 11 down. 11 down. L'Oreal with a 9 count, but an easy spare coming.
10. Now it's going to be 10.
Now it'll be 10 with the 9 count. Should have an easy conversion with her ability. Good effort there, but a 9 out.
Yeah, after a 1 count on the first shot, which really messed up the count there.
L'Oreal converts. Fisher can't convert. So that match stays close. And there's you-know-who with another mark. She's going to be well over 100 pins over average for the day.
Yeah, and keeping the pressure on Barres to maintain that lead.
Yeah, she's got to fill boxes. And a tough spare, 7 count.
You've got to convert this. Or
this is huge.
That's anybody's
match.
game. Yeah.
No doubt about it. Lindsay Jackson off the corner. She's got control of her match. Barres throws it in the gutter. That changes that match completely.
Now she's trailing.
Now she's losing by 1, and that could be a difference in this overall match. At number 1. A dramatic change, and there's a baby split, which doesn't help Chappelle's cause at all, especially with her opponent having marked. And there's a strike for Villarreal. Doesn't matter how you get it, it counts. pressure mounting on Chappelle here. The clear favorite.
That's a good shot by Haas.
But can't carry.
Nope.
And not going to win that match.
No, it's 14 pins right now. You can keep the pressure on here. We've got to see what's going to happen in the 10th
That's going to be a big miss of 8 there. So that'll be 92. That's a 2-pin match now as well. So things are starting to tilt a little bit towards Central as we get later in this game.
Yeah, let's quickly reset here, Ken, where we are. It's Chappelle by 17 at number 1. It is Chappelle by 2 at number 2. It's Chappelle by could be a bunch
that's way
here,
off.
3, but
that's way off.
But still, Hamilton's going to have a lead no matter what happens here.
She's going to have a lead, but again, pins matter too, but the match matters most right now.
Central by 1 at number 4. Central by 13, I believe it, or check that, 14 at number 5. And let's see what happens. This is a huge shot for Ruby coming up in the 9th on lane 26.
And she made a big shot, so she's even.
Tied. That's a tie match now. So you've got 2 matches on the right-hand pair. One is 1 pin, one is all even.
And there's a big spare for Hamilton. She comes back. Remember those 2 shots.
Yep, that makes it a 25-pin lead.
So we get to the 10th frame on the high pair, then still in the 8th frame on the low pair, and here's Lee, who's just had such a great day with a 7 count.
That gives the lead back.
And a missed spare here. So a missed spare there. That's going to open up number 1's got a shot for Central if she can make a good shot here. A little wide, and that's a brutal spare.
It's going to be a tough leave,
So that's going to leave that match, barring a conversion, still double figures for Chappelle. Meanwhile, for the spare, well done.
Got it.
She continues to perform so well and puts the pressure on Barres, forcing Barres to come through with a mark in the 10th at the very least. And again, that's Magnolia Lee. She's just been out of sight. Look at this shot. It's actually got a chance. Wow. Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
What a huge cover that is. A 6-pin match as a result. An 8 count for a 153. So Barres needs a mark in 7. This could be the swing match of this entire event.
She waited back to see what the situation was going to be.
Huge strike. Now she needs a 7 count. Well, she waited to see what she needed. She kept the ball in play and gave herself a chance, got a big strike. Now she needs 7.
Over 2 shots.
Over 2 shots. That's a good shot. That's in play. Yes, sir.
Great shot.
So that's a winner for Chappelle at number 4. Now she's trying to get pins. Here's a good spare. Ooh, just missed a tough shot. Just didn't go. That maintains the lead at 2 for Chappelle. Miss or make, but this would be a big make for Chappelle at number 2.
Could make it a
Fisher, if she can convert here. Let's watch this spare. This is a big shot. And she didn't make it. 164 for Barres. So now we're watching the 6 match. Number 6 could decide this whole tournament.
It's not over at 5 yet either. Let's see what happens here. I mean, you need a mark right here to wrap this up. And
Jackson just took care of it.
That's a winner.
Hamilton with the strike.
Extends. Maybe holds on to a 25-pin lead, depending on this spare result. That's a miss. That's going to make it a 36-pin lead. That's basically pretty much marked that one for Chappelle at this point.
There's a big strike. That's a huge strike. That's going to really force something important from Fisher. Meanwhile, Jackson bounces one to the head pin, gets 9. She's won her match.
That's a winner.
She's won her match. Now it's all about total pins, which right now looks to me overall Chappelle has about a 20 or 30 pin lead. That's wide. A tough spare. So a tough game here for Haas. She pulled a really good first game, but struggled since then. It really needs a spare now. This is a very important shot for Fisher, for Chappelle.
Wow.
It's a strike when she needs it. Most keeps a 6-pin lead.
That's going to be a big spare miss right there.
Haas converts. Needed that. But again, that's all about pins. Well, again, I said watch that 6 spot. That 6 spot could decide everything.
It's enormous right now.
There's an excellent strike here in the 3 spot for Central for Megan Lee.
Not going away just yet.
And there's a strike for Villarreal. It crossed over and she got the break that she needed. That's a gigantic strike.
Now Ruby has to strike.
And a bad count here.
Yep.
Now Ruby must strike to have a chance.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Villarreal is going to shoot again.
But here's the thing: if they get,
this time no break, but
they can get 2 in total pins.
So here's the deal.
That could be a path to win.
This is it right here for Ruby. Sets it down, sets it wide, and strikes.
Oh, wow, what a big shot.
And very calmly did it, I might add. So now pin count.
Now she needs 9
spare. 9 spare or a strike would win for her. Let's see what happens with Villarreal if she can convert. And she does.
Right.
So a good finish for Villarreal and a very good game at 2:13. Give Lacey a lot of credit. She came back after struggling much of the way.
Big spare conversion right there in the 9th.
That was a good spare for Fisher. Ruby, this is a big shot. Oh, you can't throw it any better than that. You talk about clutch. That's about as clutch as it gets. Best bowler that we have bowling today shows you why. That's 2 terrific shots for Sarah. That's the 2 best shots she's thrown all day.
When she had to have them.
You bet. That's impressive. Love seeing that. I'm going to let Sarah finish out here.
So what you're looking at total-wise as she throws this final shot is it's going to be a slight margin for Central.
Little wide.
That's way wide, yep.
7 count, good game. 8 count, actually, so better count than we thought. 223.
223 and a 623 series. So,
good job.
So Central
now
wins
Hamilton
total by
up
10.
on a strike. Watch the total pins here. This is a big shot. She got it. That's a huge shot. So a 10-pin margin, as you mentioned,
on that pair,
on low pair, but on the high pair, but on the low pair, Chappelle's up by 50 right now.
Right, and they're ahead in all 3 matches. That's the other thing too.
And so, Chappelle won.
Yeah, Central's only path to win this thing is to flip total and to win.
They got to win 2 of these matches,
or win at least 1 if you flip total, or you got to win, or you got to win them all. I don't think they can win them all.
Well, that's in play. She needs a spare to force a mark from Chappelle. Kept that ball nicely in play. And now Catherine Corcoran will have to try to convert the 6-10. Remember, she throws it backhand, if you will, right? Backup ball. This is a natural shot for her. She uses the lane, and that's right on target. She's going to make it.
Well
excellent shot. So that gives her a great chance. She's going to force a mark now, barring a bad count from Fisher. That's a huge shot. 2 good shots. She was in play in the first and made a good spare shot. I just love seeing that. Love seeing kids perform when it matters.
It is great. This is so entertaining this afternoon.
Oh, it is. I mean, so much credit to the Wildcats. They've done such a great job. Get here, and they actually have a chance to win this. And that looks like an accurate shot, too, to get a good count, what she needed. She got 8.
Going to force a mark.
That's what she needed. Forces a mark. So big finish there for Corcoran, 129. And that's a 7 count on a strike. It needs the spare to win the match. Meanwhile, that number 2 as we move on. Needs a strike here. That's a good looking shot.
That's right there.
Right there. Big performance when it matters.
This is
coming through in the clutch. Summer Guidry with a strike. Now watch the next one. It means everything. Here's the spare attempt. Chopped it, and a win for Central. Tough break, but when you leave that 3-pin combination, it's hard.
Central has 13.
Or 12 at this point. Right?
This is a big shot right here. This is a big shot. Oh, wow.
They had 10. They had 10, they won at 5, and they've won at 1, so that's 12.
Central's at 12 right now.
Okay.
They've won 2 matches to get to 12. Meanwhile, Chappelle is up in the bottom 2 matches, but the key here for number 2 for Chappelle is pin count.
What's interesting to me is Chappelle is waiting until Central's bowl.
Yeah, they want to see the bowl. Sure.
Yeah. Which it's not good for pace of play. I mean, the lane is
now
available.
Now we're missing a ball.
Well, that's
to make it worse. Now it finally came. So Fisher's watching, and she's going to need pin count. Is what she's going to need to win her match, which could very well decide this. If she wins, then Chappelle's going to win.
This is got to hurry. Oh,
got 9 out of it, so 122. So now it's all about pin count. Keep it on the lane with pin count.
Let's see what. That's right
in
there.
play. That's in play.
That's
Good shape.
Winner.
That's a winner. 8 count was what she needed. That's a winner. Very well done to get to the head pin. And Chappelle's going to win at 3, so unless I miss my guess, Chappelle's going to win this.
I don't see a path for Central to win it at this point.
It is over.
Yeah, remember, 78 was the total, and they can't make up 78 pins.
Yeah, there were. If you did that, if you flipped total, then chances are you were going to win. If you were going to win by 80, chances are you had to win.
So Chappelle's going to win this state championship in a great match. And I'll say it again, what a great job by the Wildcats. I mean, clearly outmanned in terms of averages coming in, and they bowled Chappelle person for person all the way. And a really good spare. Excitement galore, and it's well deserved for the Chipmunks. Well, that's clutch. Fisher waited to see what her opponent did. She knew she had to get up and hit the head pin to get count. It's exactly what she did. And then for good measure, she makes the spare. That's clutch. I mean, you leave it up to your lesser bowlers in this situation, and you get a shot like that when it matters. Boy, that's huge. And then they're going to have their emotional leader to finish it off with the state championship in a moment, right?
Right.
That's a good That's a really good finish for Fisher to shoot 138, even though she's slightly below her average. But that's what it took here for Central to win today. It took Chappelle not bowling up to its average capability and Central bowling over its average. And that's what happened for the most part.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, who saw this match coming down to the 10th frame of the 3rd game?
Nope.
And it's exactly what happened. We had, basically 4 of the 6 games and the whole match in the balance being decided here in the 10th frame.
This is going to be a 6-2 game for Chappelle. And then they'll get the 3 bonus points as well. So they're going to win this, 19?
It's going to be a
6-2 game.
It's going to be 17-10.
17-10, yeah. Yep. 17-10.
No, I'm sorry, 15-12. It was 10-6. It's going to end up 15-12.
15-12, my bad. 15-12.
So another close girls final.
Yep. Chappelle's going to win this game 6-2 because they're going to take total.
Yep.
Now it's just icing on top of the cake here for Hamilton.
3rd championship in the last 4 years that is going to be decided by 3 points or less on the girls' side.
Hamilton will cover. Archbishop Chappelle is going to take the championship trophy home to Metairie, Louisiana. Here's Hamilton ready to make the final shot of this competition. And it's a good one.
That's a way to finish.
That's exactly what you want to see, right? The emotional leader gets to throw the last shot. And Chappelle wins this by a 15-12 margin. Doesn't get much closer than this. What a great competition. What a great victory for Chappelle to win this. So impressive, the performance by Central here this afternoon to bowl the way they did, to put themselves in that position. Just a fantastic job on the part of Central. And a great win for Chappelle. They toughed it out. And let's get
well with Frank Ruby. Yep, there we go.
They did very good. They were focused. They came determined.
A lot of emotion, isn't it? First championship. I know he can hardly speak. It's an amazing day. Your girls really came back the last game.
They sure did. They sure did. They grinded all year, and we came back. We're a little bit short on our personal goals, but we came back, and they didn't stop. They didn't quit, and now we're on to the off season.
What did you tell them going into the last game?
Oh, just that we weren't going to lose. You got to play with heart and emotion. Heart and emotion, and they showed up.
You have to be proud of how they responded when they haven't had a situation like this too often.
Right. This is our worst series of the whole year, of the whole season, and we came back. We came back.
How about that anchor bowler of yours?
Sarah. Well, she's a Lincoln Memorial signee, number 18 in the country until next week in the Nationals, and I think they're going to do very well there. And she's looking forward to it. She's all set up, and here we go again. You know, we got SummerSlam coming with the SYC and then Junior Gold, and then we move her into the school.
Ready to see her bowl tomorrow?
Yes. Yeah, we're hoping to see her.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Ken.
All right, guys, what a finish. It was a great state championship, and we'll send it back to the desk.
All right, Ken, great job. Thank you very much. And obviously a terrific finish, and maybe we'll try to get Sarah Ruby too before we're done. If we tell Ken, I know he's got deadline work to do.
But
no problem. I'll be glad to go do it for you.
Terrific performance there.
You want me to do it for you? I'll be glad to do it. We can do that to make sure we get Sarah. Let's make sure they get their trophy presentation first.
And
then I'll be glad to get her, which will get her on camera.
Yep, absolutely. We'll make it happen.
Which happens for the LHSAA.
After they take that, they'll make that runner-up trophy presentation first.
You want to make sure that, I know you want to give thanks to, I talked to Eddie Bonine earlier today. He called me to make sure everything was okay. I told him fine. You want to thank Eddie and Vince?
Eddie Bonine, well. And look, the folks here at Premier Lanes, Stuart Moss, of course, Rick Bourgeois, who's the state director of Louisiana High School Bowling, is also proprietor here. So it's, look, to see this season come to an end is, the way last year ended obviously was disappointing for a lot of spring sports, student athletes. But, I mentioned bowling was harder than most because, as you see, Chappelle go claim their state championship trophy because they got through the regular season and then they lost their playoffs, where the other sports really didn't even get into district play and such. So that's the difference there.
I want to thank Vince Cassiopo of the LHSAA as well. And as you mentioned, we want to thank the crew here at Premier Lanes for accommodating us today. We have our excellent crew you want to credit
absolutely.
to.
Todd Whittington, Matt Merritt doing a great job for us as always here. A lot of bowling that we saw today. We started at 10 o'clock this morning, so over 8 hours of action, and we wrap it up.
Well, I'm going to go see if I can get Sarah Ruby
we'll see if we can get Sarah Ruby, and I'll just, we'll keep going there. And it was... the interesting thing in my mind is this. You had 8 teams come here, 6 from the Baton Rouge area, 2 from the New Orleans area, and the 2 teams from the New Orleans area prevail as state champions when it's all said and done, much like we saw 2 years ago, much like we saw 3 years ago. It's really been, at least over the recent time here since 2018, it's been a dominant effort by New Orleans area teams, with Brother Martin winning 3 in a row, with Academy of Our Lady winning 2018, 2019, and now Archbishop Chappelle gets Sarah Ruby here, and we will try to get her here in just a moment. She's got her hands on the state championship trophy. We'll see if we can get her. But I think what you saw here over the course of these last 2 weeks is there's certainly some great bowling along the I-10 corridor, Baton Rouge and New Orleans. You're still seeing the biggest depth come out of the New Orleans area in terms of the very top of the ladder, with Brother Martin winning today, with Chappelle winning today, and 2 more of those gold championship trophies will make their way back down I-10 to the New Orleans area. Once again, if you did not tune in earlier, Brother Martin, a state champion, they won over Central 21.5 to 5.5. Chappelle, a winner here this evening, 15-12 over Central in comeback fashion. They were down 10-6 going into Game 3, but came back and won 6 of 8 points and held on to total pins, of course, to win that final game. And now I believe Ken has Sarah Ruby coming up, and we will make our way over and get that shot here as the anchor for this Chappelle team. An individual state champion is now with our Ken Trahan. Ken, go ahead.
Ken Trahan with Sarah Ruby of Archbishop Chappelle. Sarah, congratulations. I mean, the anticipation was there. Everybody expected you guys would do this, but it's never easy. This was difficult.
Yes, it was very difficult. I know that third game we had to really rally and just win. That's really what we said. We said we are not going to lose today. And like our motto this year was we refuse to lose. And that's really what we put out there.
You looked at that third game. You have 2 pits operating. First 2 games, low pit struggled. Third game, the low pit came through in a big way for you guys, and you had to watch them finish because you guys were already finished.
Yes, we're the low side. We always know that, they're going to finish last, but we always know that they're going to come through because they practice, they work hard, and that's really all that they come out here and they work, and that's all we want them to do.
Last year, you were deprived of the opportunity because of the pandemic, had to wait another year. How difficult was that, and how rewarding is it to get this one after what happened last year?
Well, it's very difficult because it's kind of the things that you don't expect to go. And coming back here, it's kind of, we put everything out there because you never know for next year what's going to come up again. And it's just one of those things that we knew what we had to do. And it was kind of that having that little break there kind of allowed us to put our mindset right and really strive for this one.
You've got more to come with bowling singles, of course, and then on to bowl at the next level, which is pretty special, right?
Yes. My team actually is going to the ITC Nationals, which is very nice, and then I can watch them, and then I can also report back to them with a state championship and also winning Pepsi last weekend, and hopefully one tomorrow too.
Last but not least, years from now, God willing, you'll be able to return to the campus in Metairie, walk in and look at that case and see that trophy. How special is that going to be for you?
Oh, I'll be able to remember that we had a fight and we had to work really hard to get that trophy, and to know that in 2020 we weren't able to get one. So that's really, I just know that I'll walk into school and I'll probably cry seeing the trophy.
And you're entitled to do that. Sarah, congratulations. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. That's Sarah Ruby of Archbishop Chappelle. Lenny, back to you.
Thanks, Ken. And another sweep for New Orleans area schools for the 3rd time in a row. Brother Martin and Academy of Our Lady in 2018 and 2019. This time around, it's Brother Martin and Archbishop Chappelle. And as Ken makes his way back to the table to rejoin us, let me come back to the point I was making while you were efforting over there to do that interview. We came to Gonzales with 6 teams from Baton Rouge and 2 teams from New Orleans.
Yep.
And the 2 teams left standing are the 2 teams from New Orleans for the 3rd championship in a row.
It's just worked out that way.
Yep.
You don't want to say that one's better than another.
No, but
right now, clearly the edge goes to the New Orleans area teams. When you think about Academy of Our Lady, you think about St. Scholastica, you think about Archbishop Chappelle now, you think about Archbishop Rummel for a few years, and now Brother Martin over the span of 6 or 7 years, winning all but one championship. Certainly, the power has been in that direction. Let's not forget, not too long ago, Barb was winning boys state championships. Vanderbilt Catholic won a championship.
Lafayette High. There was a great
when they used to bowl in Lafayette all the time in the state championships.
Yeah, Southwest Louisiana had it. It made its way kind of, maybe you had some Bayou and a little bit of Baton Rouge in there. But clearly, at least at the moment, it's in the New Orleans area.
No question about it. Of course, we want to send our greatest appreciation to Kent Lowe, our good and great friend, for joining us today, who knows the sport so well and loves the sport and does a terrific job for the Advocate, and, of course, doing his outstanding work at LSU, where they had kind of an interesting day today.
Yes, they
with
did.
The introduction of Kim Mulkey as their new head coach. Congrats to LSU on a terrific hire, by the way, for that occurring. A lot of sports things happening today. We encourage you to go to CrescentCitySports.com to check each and every one of those items out. Some hirings of Pope John Paul II, which we reported earlier today. Some great achievements in wrestling by some local wrestlers. A national event, which I reported on earlier today. And, of course, we'll have a Pelican story up later when they play. As always, you're going to get it all at CrescentCitySports.com. Did I get that right?
I think you
didn't have to read that promo.
No, thank you. You could take it from there, though. Go ahead.
Well, I'll be glad to do it. Thanks for joining us this evening. We want to remind you that we'll have live baseball playoff action coming up in the next 2 weeks. Visit our website at CrescentCitySports.com for the latest broadcast schedule. For our Crescent City Sports production team, and for Lenny Van Gilder and Kent Lowe, I'm Ken Trahan saying so long from Premier Lanes in Gonzales, where Archbishop Chappelle has won the 2021 LHSAA Girls Bowling State Championship. God bless you. So long.